There are days out on the water when everything just clicks. The cast feels perfect, the retrieve feels alive, and you just know a monster bass is about to crush your bait. Then there are the other days, the days where you're throwing baits that have won millions in tournaments, lures that clog up your social media feed with hero shots, and you get nothing. Not a bite, not a bump, not even a curious follow. Welcome to Bloodline Bass, and today we're talking about those days. These are my 5 lures that have given me more headaches than head shakes. These are my 5 biggest bass fishing failures. And I'm laying it all out there because honestly, I need your help to solve this mystery. So look, I know it's not just about a bad trip, about one bad trip. We're talking about years of trying to figure these baits out. I've been fishing since I was about 5 years old. I'm 61 now. I've spent hundreds, if not thousands of dollars, and who knows how many hours trying to crack the code of these supposed guaranteed fish catchers. You see the pros do it, you see your buddies do it, but for me, it's a masterclass in failure. And I'm willing to bet I'm not the only one. So let's get into that tackle box of shame. First up on my list is not one lure, it's a whole celebrated category. And I'm talking about top waters. Poppers, spooks, frogs, buzzbaits, you name it, I've blanked on it. My approach feels textbook. I've taken poppers and fished them with that classic pop-pop pause in shallow water. I've let them sit for a full 20 seconds, waiting for the ripples to die down before even starting to retrieve. I've tried walk the dog with spooks over open water until my wrist ached, just trying to get that perfect side-to-side zigzag. I've buzzed frogs along grass mats, pitched them under docks and hanging trees, just like you're supposed to. I've tried aggressive rips to make it look like a fleeing bait fish, and I've tried tiny, subtle twitches. The results are almost always the same. It's a beautiful, completely unobstructed view of the lake. Now, I know these things work. The pros will tell you that for poppers, you want low 70-degree water, and you should make long casts to shallow cover because most of the strikes happen within the first 6 feet of the retrieve. For walking baits like a spook, they say calm, clear water over 55 degrees is prime. And you need to use slack line in your cast to get that nice side-to-side action. As for frogs, it's all about buzzing them over thick, matted vegetation. So where am I going wrong? My biggest guess is it's the little things. Maybe my casts are too short and I'm spooking the fish before the lure even lands. Maybe I'm not giving enough slack when I try to walk a spook, which kills that gliding motion. And I'm constantly fighting hooks or debris off of my frog hooks. I've had fish swing and miss. I wait till feel the weight of the fish before setting the hook. Nada. But I think the biggest problem is impatience. I talked about my impatience in the video Near Disaster in the Aster. If you haven't seen it, it'll be in a link in the description below. I see a great spot and my gut tells me work it fast and hard, but top water sometimes they demand a level of patience I obviously haven't mastered yet. So here's my question for you. What's the one tweak you made to your top water game that changed everything? Was it a specific pause count, a certain rod action? Let me know in the comments because I'm at wit's end with top waters. Number 2 on my failure list is the jig. Any jig, swim jigs, flipping jigs, football jigs. If it's got a skirt and a weed guard, it's victimized me. For lures that the pros consistently call their number 1 moneymaker, my record with it is embarrassingly clean. I've tried swimming a jig with a steady retrieve, giving it little pops and twitches. I've pitched heavy flipping jigs into the thickest cover I can find, docks, stumps, grass, letting them hit the bottom and trying to hop them in place. I've dragged football jigs through brush piles and even snapped them off the bottom to trigger a reaction strike. It all feels like it should be working, but the fish ain't buying it. The pros make it look simple. They'll swim a jig in the spring around shallow cover. They'll flip into isolated spots in the spring and summer. And then in the summer and winter, they're dragging football jigs slowly across deep structure. Heck, I bet they can flip a jig into a friggin' toilet bowl and set the hook on a 10-pound bass. They always seem to be matching the jig and the retrieve to the season and the cover. I suspect my failure comes down to a fundamental misunderstanding of less is more. I'm probably working the bait too much, way too much. Common mistake is adding too much action, when a super slow crawl or a tiny hop is all it takes. The old wisdom says that a jig, you should go slow and then slow down some more. So I'm also probably trying to power through cover when I should be trying to finesse it. So for all you jig masters out there, what's your go-to retrieve when the bite is tough? How do you force yourself to slow down and let the jig do the work? I'm all ears. So folks, before moving on, if any of this is sounding familiar to you, or if you already got some help, some ideas for me, do me a favor, hit that subscribe button. We're building a community here to try to solve these exact kind of fishing frustrations, and your experience might be the key to helping someone else, myself included, land their personal best. Stick around because we still got 3 more epic fails to get through. So next up, legendary lure for deep water fishing, especially in the cold, is the jigging spoon. Honestly, I don't fish them here too much here in Florida, so I'm not too overly concerned with this, but I did fish them often when I lived up in New York. This thing is a simple design, it's brutally effective, trigger strikes from sluggish bass. For me, it was mastery of triggering nothing. My technique seemed right on the money. I'd use my electronics, find a bait fish, in deep water, anywhere from 20, 30, 40, 50 feet, whatever, drop the spoon straight down, trying to hop it just above or below the bait, letting it fall on semi-slack line to get that classic flutter, bounce it on the bottom with long pauses. I'd even cast it out to ledges, popping it up, letting it flutter back down. Nothing seemed to get a bite. Yet this is a go-to for countless anglers in the fall, winter, and even in the deep summer. The key to success is finding those schools of shad or bait fish, and understanding that most bites happen as the spoon flutters down. So it's all about looking like a dying shad or a bait fish. It's an easy meal a bass can't pass up. So why does it fail me with bass? I've caught countless bluefish on them fishing the charter boats up in New York. Some of you may have even been on the same boat with me or as me, and that's the Klondike out of New Rochelle. But bass? Nope. The number one mistake is probably working the lure too much, which kills the natural flutter that triggers the bite. Ripping it up too hard or letting it fall on too tight of a line, preventing it from doing what it's made to do. Another issue could be, is my belt position. Maybe I was sitting right up on top of the fish and spooking them. And of course, there's a simple fact that if there are no shad or bait fish, there probably won't be any bass there looking for a spoon. So it's a highly situational lure, and I was just misreading the situation completely. Who knows? My question for the spoon experts, how do you discipline yourself to let the spoon fall naturally? And how critical is that semi-slack line? Should I even be trying to fish them here in Florida? Drop your wisdom below. This next one hurts because these baits are responsible for some of the biggest bass caught every single year. And I'm talking about jointed swim baits and glide baits. These are the pricey, ultra-realistic lures that are supposed to call in the giants. For me, they mostly just call in the silence. I feel like I've tried it all. I've used a slow, steady retrieve. I've crawled them painfully slow during cold fronts. I've tried erratic side-to-side jerks with long pauses to try to trigger a bite. I've even burned them across points. The anglers who are great with these lures are true artists. To me, Chris Zaldane and Brandon Palaniuk immediately come to mind. They shine in late winter, early spring, and clear water using slow erratic retrieves that give the bait maximum hang time and its subtle glide. It's about creating a presentation that looks natural, like a big easy meal. My failure here is probably twofold. First, I'm overcomplicating the retrieve. The biggest mistake beginners make trying to work the lure with the rod rather than with the reel. The sharp, unnatural looks, they might be spooking the fish. Secondly, just the conditions. They excel in clear water. And for the most part, I'm fishing tannic to very stained waters. So it's a game of patience, and you have to commit to it for hours before you get that one giant bite. So those of you who have mastered the glide bait, how did you finally build the confidence in it? Was there a specific retrieve or a situation that finally made it click for you? I'm ready to learn. Lastly on my list is a bait that feels like it should be the easiest thing in the world, and that's the creature bait, all by itself, not as a trailer, but on its own, Texas rigged. These baits with their little legs and appendages look like a perfect meal. I've flipped and pitched cross-style creature baits into every kind of cover you can imagine. I let them fall, hop them a few times, give them a shake, then reel it in, do it all over again. I've tried swimming them slowly, even yo-yoing them. The results are consistently nothing. Now these baits, most often, they're used as trailers on jigs or chatterbaits to add, action and bulk. Plenty of anglers do find success fishing them solo, especially when flipping into grass and around docks in the spring and summer. Fished by itself, a creature bait is supposed to mimic a crawfish or some other kind of bottom dweller. My theory is that a creature bait fished alone often lacks the trigger that a skirted jig provides. The jig on kind of breathes and pulses, creating more of a lifelike profile. By itself, the creature bait might just sink unnaturally and not offer enough vibration. It may be just that it's a better teammate than it is a solo player. So this is my final plea to the community. Do you ever fish a creature bait by itself? And if so, when and how? Is there a specific style of creature bait or a rigging method that makes it work as a standalone presentation? So there you have it. Those are my 5 biggest failures: top waters, jigs, jigging spoons, glide baits, and solo creature baits. These are foundational lures in modern fishing, yet for me, they represent a huge gap in my game. I'm putting my pride on the shelf and officially asking for your help. The comment section is now open for a masterclass. Tell me your breakthroughs, your go-to techniques, and the little details that turn these frustrating lures into the biggest confidence baits. I'll be reading every single comment, taking notes, and getting ready to head back out on the water to turn these failures into a success. If you'd like to know my 5 most successful lures, get in the comment section and let me know. Thank you for watching, folks. Smash that subscribe button, and while you're at it, hit the like button, and I'll see you in the next one.